the edges back deck. Looks to be a pretty nice one, so let's open it up and see what we've got at hand tonight. I knew there was one hiding in there. So it looks standard. Yep. Old school standard cards. Standard front. You could tell when the yellow is a little brighter than what seems to be normal. So it looks like the only specialty is the back. Not bad, a nice traditional deck to work with. So let's shuffle it up and continue on with our next episode. 1,000. Here we come. And a couple specials very shortly. But enough of that. I hope your day has been well. And that you're ready to relax and play some solitaire. So as we give this deck 3 more shuffles, please get yourselves nice and comfy. And then let's begin our first game of the night. What are you thinking so far for first impressions? I thought for sure I would really like this deck, but I'm not too certain just yet. And here we go, game number 1. I think it would have been nice if they put a little bit of a darker tone on the face cards. Or at least like a special ace. All of the queens are accounted for early. Alright, black 10. Triple jacks, just realized that. We really need a black 10 now. Just missed one. And I don't think we have the other. And as a matter of fact, that's the end of our first game. As there's nowhere for that queen. 3, 5, 2, 2, and lastly, 9. A fairly tough start of it. It looked promising with the spacing, with the reds. I think it was 975 on the field, I believe. Alright, let's see if there are any negative stats to add here, as we see double aces so far. Triple aces. Triple threes, triple tens. A fairly nasty one this time. Let's throw up a casino shuffle. just looked to my left and saw some of our decks that we have for future episodes. And I'm really excited about a couple. I was looking at this clown deck, or circus type theme, I guess, to where I went looking on eBay, and I really wanted to find something that I just thought should be a deck, no matter what. It's just something that makes sense to where you're kind of surprised when it's not really out there. So I found this clown themed deck, hopefully. And surprisingly enough, it is from Japan. And I'm waiting to open that one. It's been so tough because every time I look at the shelf to the left, I think, one of these days, clown, we're gonna go at it. Tell me a couple people who would say that exact same phrase. Don't tell me. We just got shut out in game number 2. So quite a few negative stats already in this one. As there's nowhere for that queen. 7, 6, king, jack, 3, queen, or 3. We almost received a reverse perfect game. The only play we could make was the ace of spades. Surprisingly not another. And let's see if there are any triplets to add, as once again, triple tens, triple kings, triple fives. So back-to-back games with 3 sets of triplets unturned. That might be a first. We're in our 640 something episode, and we're still having firsts. Crazy. Anyway, I was looking at that clown, and I just have such high hopes for the deck. And I think I might have a bit of a different standard now for art design. So, as you should know, if you watch every night, which if you do, my goodness, you're crazy, and I love it. That I've been working on increasing my drawing abilities to create art, custom art, for our own deck of cards at some point. And if I wanted to, I could just make a simple background. This isn't simple, but, and just have this type of standard facing. But I want to bring something unique to a deck. Then again, you don't want to go too far from the traditional for the first deck is how I like to see it. So I'm trying to just get somewhat decent at designing certain characters, and it's got me really excited because I've made quite a bit of improvements over the past several months, and I like looking back from my first attempt through my most recent attempt and seeing the improvements, the setbacks, but the overall improvement in consistency and style. And I'm just so excited for when that time comes to have a very own deck. And it's gonna be awesome. What a start so far. So when I look at a deck like this, I see a fairly nice background, but the face cards are just standard. There's nothing wrong with the standard face card, it's just, I think when I'm having a higher ceiling or expectations for a deck of cards when it's kind of unnecessary. necessary. So I have to level that back, you know what I mean? I think you got what I mean. Alright, so by the looks of it, this should be a quick game once again, but you know, we don't quit. And we're gonna do our best to beat this one as we have triple fives on the field with triple kings. Yeah, I think there's nothing else to add on to that thought just now. I'm getting it better. And I'm so excited for when a deck comes out. My goal is to bring it out or save up enough to produce a deck, because apparently it's much more complicated than you'd think if you want quality, as we now have quadruple fives. That's our third play. So, the plan is to release that deck. Oh, my bad, I thought there was only a 2 up there. Around our 1000th Solitaire video. But that's if everything goes well. And things are always subject to change right now. Things are a little bit tough. Hopefully it changes at some point. But until then, just gotta keep being optimistic as we now have ourselves a fairly different viewpoint on this game. There we go. And we'll see how this one wraps up. Ooh, there we go. We'll take it. 3, 4, 5. Do we find a spot for a king? Yes, we do. Alright. Now I feel much better. There's our black 10 I was just about to ask for. And there's another black 10. Even better. I think we might have found ourselves a victory in this one. Now wouldn't that be something if we pull it off? Our first 2 games absolutely punishing. As we get our first fat stack of the night, our last chance to place down this king, which we do. And we might have a chance at our second fat stack if our hand is kind to us. This game looks all but one. Yes, our second fat stack. And my friend, after those first 2 tough games, we come back in our third with a victory. Now somebody explain that while we stack up our cards. Spades in order, ace to king, with the clubs. Next, the hearts, to start too. That felt pretty good. Let's see how we did. A little hiccup, but all the reds together. And a little hiccup and a recovery. Let's go one more time to see how many sets of 4 we could get. Just missed the kings. All 4 jacks, all 4 tens, 9s, 8s, 7s, and that looks to be it. Pretty decent shuffle. Let's throw in a casino for game number 4. And while we're at it, let's give this deck its rating. So, compared to a standard deck of bicycle cards, the design exactly the same. Back design, I prefer the standard design, but we'll call it a wash. Nothing's better so far, but this deck has some very good handling, feel, and the durability, I can tell, is better than a standard deck. So despite being very simple and not too extraordinary, it's gonna get a solid 7. You could play with this deck every day, and it should be just fine for a long time. Let's see if we can make it back to back, or at least another fat stack. Alright, let's give it a whack. Yeah, it's funny. Our first game looked promising, or I think our second one could have been perceived as promising. Our last one, no chance. Yet, we won. The one that looked like we had no chance. The one looked like with the best chance was very quick. And it just goes to show once again, kind of like baseball, you cannot predict solitaire. Is we have a nice little stack developing to our left. And I believe this king would be our third play. So double kings, stacks developing, in need of a red 6 and some building upon this 10, and we'll give ourselves a good fighting chance. Ooh, just missed a good opportunity there without the 2 of spades. Oh, let's actually do this. Yeah. Alright, I think we might be done after that, actually. So a thorough check, as there's nowhere for that 6, and instantly we find a play. Good for us. But for how much longer is the question. proposal. If we place that 3, nope, we cannot force the 4 of diamonds. Oh no. It looks like we just missed our chance at victory. As there's nowhere for that 6 jack, 4 or 5. Last play we could make is that 3. Nothing else left. Tough one right there. If only we had the ace of spades, or 2 of spades, as well as the ace of hearts. 2 of hearts. We could have turned that one around. But a good game, for sure. Lots of doubles. Final game of the night. Here we come. And since we're at the end, let's play a little game as I do an amazing shuffle. Think of any card in the deck. And let's see if you guess it correctly. Now I'll play along. I initially thought Jack of Clubs. Ooh. 8 of Hearts is calling me, and here we go. Yeah, of course you're not gonna believe me, but I was gonna say 4 of Hearts before 8 of Hearts. But 4 of Hearts just didn't seem right, so I went with the 8 and doubled it. I think I've told this story before, but let me share it again for those of you who are new. Well, that was weird. Okay, so before I get into that story, let me explain what just happened. So, I have no idea where I put that cut, but there was what sounded like, to me, since I'm wearing headphones, to make sure the audio is smooth, it sounded like a loud explosion. I have no idea what it was. It probably was a gunshot, but from the gunshots I've heard before, they're pretty close, like they've happened close before, and it did not sound like that. It sounded like it was right outside, and I actually felt a little tremor upon hearing it, as we have, another great start. So maybe we won't get to the story. So, just because if it is something that sounds interesting, I think I'm gonna I will leave the original clip before I cut at the end of the video at regular volume, so you could hear what I heard and make up your own conclusions and share them with me as well, because to me it sounds like something fell. It could have been like a water heater explosion or a gunshot, no idea. Alright, let me see if I could get this story going. To change the subject to something a little more lighthearted. So, what I would do for a card trick this one time, completely just messing around. I was doing this. I was on a road trip with my girlfriend, and we were bored, and I decided to do a little magic trick. Magic in parentheses, because it was not magic at all, it was just pure luck. So what I did was I asked her to think of a card in her head, just any card, and I told her to imagine it, to visualize it and picture it in her head, and then I asked her to take that card from the deck. So after that, I told her, alright, I'm gonna tell you your card, but first I want you to first say spade, diamond, club, and heart. I asked her to do that 3 times, which she did. And I think it was a diamond she chose. And after that, I asked her to repeat ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, king, in that order. She did that 3 times, and with all the confidence I could pretend, I said, alright, I got your card. Obviously, she did not believe me. And I gave my guess, and it was correct. A 1 in 52 chance on the only time I've ever tried that. And it worked. She was in disbelief. I pretended like I knew that trick by heart, of course, for a little bit. Then I told her afterwards I just lucked out. But what I really did, as that's the end of this game, is I tried noticing any little fluctuations or stutters. Double king 6, 9, 5 in her voice to see if I could hear, like, let's say, space diamond club heart, space diamond club heart, space diamond club heart, right there. You might have noticed on the second and third time I emphasized diamond, and people do that subconsciously as well. Ooh, this is a gamble time. Let's gamble with this instead. And that's pretty much how I did it. By conning as if I knew the answer. And apparently I did. Put down that king and hopefully we could work something else here. And I think what really freaked her out too is that I was doing other little cheap gimmick tricks beforehand that she didn't know about. And that probably was the last thing because, like, just ruling out the most likely option. That one should have been, oh, let's keep that one. There's no way I could have known that by any trick in the book. Yet I did. That might have been a mistake, but we'll find out. Anyway, my bad, I could have told that better, but I'm still thinking about that loud noise that I will play at the end. So, you've been warned. Oh, wait a second. Let's jump you over here. That's perfect. Okay. Do we have something special going on now? 4, 5, jack. Uh-oh. You know what, my friend? I think we might have just won our final game of the night. And once again, our third game we had triple kings to start. This one we had triple eights. Yet somehow we prevail through each of our worst, statistically predictable worst starts, and come on top with a victory. And the phrase of the night will be wacky. Wacky indeed, not a fat stack in this one, so we add a couple wins and a couple fat stacks to our stats. Let's finish doing our victory shuffle, say our goodnight, and then I'll replay, or I'll play that loud noise so you can let me know what you think that was, because right now I have no clue. Alright, here we go. The spades, the clubs, the hearts, the diamonds. Let's do our final shuffle of the night. interesting shuffle, but you know what? Fitting shuffle for an interesting night. That's it. I hope you enjoyed. You know I did. I'm eager to listen back to that, so please have yourself a relaxing remainder of your night. Many sweet dreams. Until we meet again, please stay safe and eat your fruits and vegetables. But let me share it again for those of you who are new.